The Rock says attempts have been made to get him to run for president of the United States. During an appearance on Trevor Noah's new podcast, The Rock was asked about a 2021 poll that claimed 46% of adults in the United States would support his campaign for president. According to The Rock, several political parties approached him in 2022 with more research supporting the idea that he would be a real contender in a presidential election, to which The Rock said that he was really moved by that and that he was blown away and really honored. He then added, "I'll share this little bit with you. At the end of the year in 2022, I got a visit from the parties asking me if I was going to run and if I could run." He went on to say, "It was all very surreal because that's never been my goal. My goal has never been to be in politics. As a matter of fact, there's a lot about politics that I hate." The Rock running for president of the United States was a key plot point of NBC's Young Rock. The premise of the show was that The Rock was reliving stories of his youth during an interview to promote his 2032 run for president. NBC announced this summer that the show was being canceled after 3 seasons. However, teases have been made by those associated with the show that NBC's cancellation is not the end for Young Rock. Now let's hop into the news coming out of AEW Dynamite. Samoa Joe has vacated the Ring of Honor television title. After defeating Keith Lee on Wednesday's show, Samoa Joe relinquished the championship, leaving in the middle of the ring. He called out MJF, saying that the next title on his shoulder would be the AEW World Championship. Samoa Joe had held the Ring of Honor television title for 575 days, the longest reign in the title's history. MJF defeated Samoa Joe at AEW Dynamite Grand Slam back in September to retain the AEW World Championship. Despite the loss, Samoa Joe has continued to pursue MJF in an effort to gain another championship match, going as far as to offer to have MJF's back during a recent AEW World Championship match against Kenny Omega. Samoa Joe had successfully defended the television title in recent weeks, defeating the likes of Willie Mack, Tony Nese, and former champion Red Titus. Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho will team against the Young Bucks with a tag team title shot and more in the balance at AEW Full Gear. Omega and Jericho as the Golden Jets will face Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson of the Young Bucks at Full Gear, with the Bucks guaranteed AEW tag team title shot at stake. Additionally, Omega and Jericho must disband as a team should they lose. The Young Bucks earned the tag team title shot with a victory in a 4-way match at WrestleDream on October 1st. The Full Gear bout was agreed to in a backstage promo segment on Wednesday's Dynamite. 7 matches are now set for the Full Gear event, with 6 currently set for the main card and another announced for the 0-hour pre-show. The current lineup includes AEW World Champion MJF defending against Jay White, the AEW Women's World Champion Hikaru Shida defending against Toni Storm, the AEW International Champion Orange Cassidy defending against Jon Moxley, Hangman Page versus Swerve Strickland, Sting, Darby, and Adam Copeland all teaming up to take on Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne, the Golden Jets, Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho versus the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, and the Full Gear 0-hour match is MJF and a mystery partner to defend the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles against the Guns, Austin Gunn and Colton Gunn. Also from last night's AEW Dynamite, Mariah May has officially signed with AEW. Mariah May appeared on the show being introduced by RJ City backstage. She asked if she could meet Toni Storm, saying she was the reason for coming to AEW. RJ City told Mariah that he could introduce her to Toni next week. Mariah May was excited upon hearing the news, hugging and even giving RJ City a kiss on the cheek. Tony Khan on X quickly confirmed that May had signed with AEW. The 25-year-old started wrestling in 2019 in the United Kingdom, wrestling for promotions such as Progress, Southwest Wrestling, and Revolution Pro. In December of last year, she made her debut for Stardom, becoming part of the Club Venus stable. She finished her run with Stardom in September, with Dave Meltzer reporting in October that she was headed to AEW, possibly to be part of a group with Toni Storm. Now on to some news regarding NXT. During an appearance on NewsNation, Shawn Michaels discussed WWE NXT's new television deal with the CW network. It was announced this week that NXT will be leaving the USA network for a new TV home in October 2024. It's a 5-year deal between NXT and the CW. Ari Emanuel stated on a TKO conference call that the deal represents a 70% increase in average annual value over NXT's previous contract. Shawn Michaels told NewsNation that moving from cable to broadcast television is a huge deal for NXT, saying, quote, "It's a huge deal for us. Coming to CW in October 2024, this really is. This is huge for the young men and women here in NXT. As you mentioned, the stars of tomorrow. And sort of since its inception in 2013, coming to network television is just gigantic. And for people who aren't in the television industry, that means the possibility of being in every home in America, which is just huge for us, incredibly exciting. And of course, people who may not know, WrestleMania of last year consisted of 90% former NXT talent. So make no mistake about it, the people that you're going to be seeing on the CW in October 2024 are going to be people who are going to be main eventing WrestleMania in the very near future." NewsNation asked Shawn Michaels what makes NXT different than Raw and SmackDown, to which he responded, "Obviously, we're much younger. We are recruiting college athletes coming out of college. And look, when Hunter started this 13 years ago, his vision was that within the WWE, we could hone and develop the future stars of the WWE. Coming to the CW network for a 5-year agreement is just proof positive that his vision has worked. I'm obviously just honored to continue to keep that going." When asked which wrestlers from NXT could be the next big thing in WWE, Michaels named Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, Tiffany Stratton, the Creed brothers, and Tony D'Angelo. Of course, the Creed brothers have now gone on to WWE Raw. Michaels, who runs NXT, has the official job title of Senior Vice President of Talent Development Creative. More NXT news. This Tuesday's episode averaged 794,000 viewers on the USA Network, up 17.8% from last week's Halloween night episode. This is the best audience total for the show since October 17 and is NXT's 6th highest viewership of 2023. NXT drew a 0.26 rating in the 18 to 49 demo. That's up 30% from last week and is the best number the show has done since its loaded up episode that went up against AEW Dynamite on October 10th. Some main roster news. The men's WarGames match has been announced for Survivor Series. Adam Pearce announced it would be the Judgment Day, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, and JD McDonough versus Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and Cody Rhodes in a WarGames match at Survivor Series, which takes place on November 25th.